An inability to switch off is one of the biggest reasons entrepreneurs, business owners, busy professionals start to lose their edge. It's not because we're not working hard enough, it's because we're unable to stop, recover, rest. Whether that looks like being at home, eating dinner, but not being present, not listening, not remembering. Whether it looks like an inability to sleep at night because you're churning problems over, jumping into your phone first thing in the morning, just noticing you're not as present with your kids, you're on your phone and they give you that nudge and they let you know, which can be frustrating. Ultimately, the mind is never switching off, it's whirring away and it starts to break us down. It starts to make us less sharp and really contributes to losing our edge and losing our sharpness. The key to it though is this is not a discipline problem. You can't grind your way into better switching off. This is actually a skill problem. It's a separation problem. Be it looks like there's no real buffer between work, business and home. Be it there's no real structure to actually switching off. Be it, whoa, I'm always on my phone, I'm scrolling stuff constantly all the time. This is not a grind it out and solve it problem. It's a skillfully create separation that we can start to put in place. You know, one thing I will say though, there is always a caveat to these things. There are people on the line online who will say, hey, you don't need to switch off. There'll be people who say, oh God, you know, that's the way it is. If you're in business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you've got a demanding job, you're always on it. And that can be true. And sure, if you want to be at home and you want to be answering emails while you're trying to have dinner with your family, if you want to be, you know, out for the day but checking your phone, if you want to struggle sleeping because you're up working late trying to make it happen, great. If you're a content creator and you know your life's recording your life, wonderful. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people we work with who don't want that. They want to be present at home. They want separation between their success at work and their success at home. They want to win across all areas of life. And they understand that actually, you can't do that when you're constantly glued mentally to work. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can win there and there without giving up your ambition and your drive in work. Now, the first upgrade of the three, which are absolutely crucial, and I say to people all the time, number one thing you can do is build a switch off trigger. What is a switch off trigger? It's that signal for your brain that, hey, it's time to switch off from work, from business, whatever it is. It's a separation. And there's a technique and a format to this. The first thing is we need a trigger. I don't know how you work, but if you're in an office like this, for example, we need a physical cue that work's done. Now, I like to get people to clean a desk, tidy an environment. It takes a couple of minutes. Shut the laptop down, put it in its case, shut the computer down, whatever it may be. That quick 3 or 4 minute trigger, that is not, oh, now I'm switched off. It is the trigger that we condition when we say this means work is done. The second part of that is, as soon as you've done that, you layer on top another habit, which for me, if you keep a planner on your desk, a jotter, a journal, whatever it may be, immediately then it's right. What did I get done today? What needs doing? What's still left over? Because these unfinished tasks become open loops. But your brain's happy when you say, what have I done? What's still left to do? 3, when am I going to do that? Is it in a couple of days? Is it tomorrow? And you give it a time and a day. You say, okay, that's going to happen on Thursday. Maybe you write, and then last but not least, you write down your key tasks for first thing in the morning. I always like that question, what has to happen before 12? I ask myself that question, I write it down, and my brain's happy. Except, once I've shut that day down, there's one more little prompt that's useful. And it's what I want out of the rest of my day. And so there I just write, to this evening or whatever it is, tonight, I want to feel, whatever it is. I tell my brain, this is what I want to feel. I want to feel happy, present, calm. If I'm at home, for example, when I have dinner with the kids, when I get home, when I sit down this evening. Or I might be off to the gym. I want to feel energetic and driven, training hard in the gym. But your brain needs to know this is no longer the priority. What we're about to do is. And when you do that, you shift your brain this little direction. And now it's gonna know we want this, we want to feel this way at this point in our evening. Last but not least, I love to add a bit of breathing to that. Just 5 or 6 nice deep steady breaths. Breathe in for 4 8 for 6, downshift the system, boom, go. And that switch off trigger can start over time as you compound it. Your brain starts to learn, okay, the tidying of the desk, the putting the laptop away, that means we're not working, we're downshifting. It's a game changer. You can do it way more advanced, but plug that in and see how you go. Of course, that brings us to the second point, which is environment. Environment's crucial. If your physical home environment is cluttered with work stuff, your laptop's on the side, you work in your bedroom, you work at your kitchen table. I understand sometimes we have to do these things, but we have to work really hard to either one, create a space where we only work, if that's possible, or two, clear that up. Because if your brain walks into your kitchen, your laptop's there, boom, work. Immediately it goes to work. Which brings us to the bigger point, which is the phone. You can work on your phone now. And so the phone's always in our pocket, it's always around. When we talk about environment, it's not just physical, it's digital. And so how can I clean my digital environment up? Is it when I walk through the door, when I go home, phone goes off? Is it I never use the phone in the gym, for example, if you go to the gym? Whatever your activity is. Phone-free days. On a weekend, can you have a phone-free day? Because as much as people say, I'm not going to work, you go on your phone, you check an email, oh, now we're working. So it's how do we create separation digitally? Is the phone out of the bedroom? Do you use devices like the brick device, where you can just lock yourself out of things? Brilliant device, no affiliate, but brilliant device. Best 45 quid you might spend in switching off. But the phone is this constant glue to work. We need to create separation and boundaries around it. So that's the second point. Now the third point, more global, but probably more important. Do I have a definition of done? If I zoom out, do I have a definition of done for my week? Because often we're trying to switch off and fighting it daily. But if you look at weekly, as I move into my week, is it planned? Do I know the 1 to 3 key things that if I get them done, this week's a success? Because business, work, there's always more of it. It's a treadmill. You could fill your days. I can fill my days forever with more and more work, more things to do. So if I don't tell my brain this week, this is the key aim, this is what I want out of it, this moves the needle, then my brain's always going to find me more things to do. Hence an inability to switch off. What is my definition of success for the week? Do I know that? What have I got to get done? 1 to 3 key things. Now, if you execute that and stick to it, you build a switch off trigger and you tidy up your environments, you're going to have a way better chance of switching off, which gives you more energy, more focus to go be effective where it matters, at work and at home. Now, of course, that brings another problem, which is, well, if I can switch off, how do I switch on? We've got videos on that. Keep watching.